Well, hi diddly hey, neighborino. It is Jim Dempsey. Not that you would know the name, but now you do. And let's talk about Jim Dempsey for just a couple minutes. I think he's a interesting subject. So I'm gonna unpack just a little bit. Now, I am a guy who is interested in, besides music journalism and art criticism, I'm into primarily politics. The reason for this is because my general interests boil down largely to what people are doing and what people are saying about what people are doing. And underground heavy metal. And also, as someone who is subject to a lot of citations from municipal authority and sanctions from the state bar, I'm just generally kind of curious what happens with all the money that's stolen from me. And, pardon the noise there. I am someone who lives the death metal lifestyle more by providence of fate than by choice. And as such, I have a bit of experience that I can draw on that a lot of people discussing culture and politics may not necessarily have. Well, at the same time, a perspective on music and culture that I can bring to discussions of death or black metal or other less interesting subgenres in this universe. Looking your way, doom metal bands that maybe a lot of people aren't necessarily bringing to the table. So let's talk about Somalis for just a moment. Now, there's news stories about developments with the Somali community in Minnesota and mentions of the contemporaneous Somali community in Seattle, which I happen to have some experience of. I used to work in a thrift store 15 years ago. There was a lot of Somali guys in the donation center. Very sweet people. My favorites were Osman and Abdallah, but Heath was great. Jaylani was scary. Ismail was a very, very great guy. Just salt of the earth sort of people. Now, I was having a conversation with my mom just because the topic had come up in the news, and I was just making some casual observations based on my experiences from 15 years ago. And mind you, you have to extrapolate out what happened 15 years ago is kind of it. Yesterday's news, right? So I said to Mom, we used polygamy as a case example in gay marriage because when that was a topic about 20 years ago, the argument was if you have marriage equality, as some of us call it, what's the argument against polygamy? And the counter argument was, well, no one's talking about that. Shut the hell up. That's ludicrous. Well, get my voice clear for you here. These guys that I know got they got wives. Jaylani had 30 kids. And I mentioned that to my mom. Jaylani has 30 kids. Halima has 10, but even she can't do 30. Jaylani has multiple wives. Polygamy is practiced in America. And again, mind you, I'm talking about experience from 15 years ago. And me mom replied, serial polygamy for sure. Divorce and remarriage over and over. And I said, no, like real live polygamy with multiple wives at one time. And she said, And I carried on the thread. They don't have the same values that we do. It's not a thing for someone from a very different culture in the way it is for someone from our culture. Like, just on a basis of facts, if you're not making judgments about these sort of things, that's what you have. And for context, my mother is a very Republican woman, very churchly sort of woman, and she seemed taken aback, and I was kind of surprised by that. I thought, you really do have just that kind of baseline context. Americans have a bad habit of thinking that the world is full of people that think a lot like Americans do and just speak a different language and eat different diets. And I'm here to draw your attention to the fact that a lot of your universe is shaped by your language, with attendant implications for your culture. One thing about the Somali guys, they're very sweet people, salt of the earth guys, right? They hate Jews, and they hate queers. They do not abide it, and they're not shy about it. Spoke pretty openly about it with them, and just in casual conversation, just working guys, two working guys, and I don't know if that's as obvious to a lot of the people having these conversations in that universe, because they don't live the death metal lifestyle. On which note, a couple of people in this store, one of them was from Congo, DRC Congo, one was from Afghanistan, and both of these people had this perpetually haunted look in their eyes. You knew, looking at this person, that he and she had seen at least multiple people die violently, because even one doesn't put that look in people's eyes, right? Jaylani is a man who has made multiple people die violently. But he was a sweetie. Once he's over here, him and his 30 kids. Now, I'm just speaking facts without any sort of judgment on it, because they were just coworkers to me. But, alright. Next decade or so is going to be an interesting one to live in, as the Chinese have cursed us with. Now, I talk a bit about how I experience metal versus how it seems like a lot of my peers do. How I was, from a young age, before I even knew the music, drawn in by the whole idea, the aesthetic, the general package, the mission statement, if you will. What some in my field call the bright line rule. The summary statement. whereas a lot of guys just listen for the sound. And I don't understand that one. I have to say, it is a fundamentally different mode of thinking to mine, and that has always interested me. So I'm just curious about modes of thought, the way people think, how that is expressed, and how much of it can be conveyed or shaped by the language that you're speaking in. So these are the kinds of things that I muse upon while I'm checking stock reports and emails and cutting checks to punk-ass inheritors. Slowly dying. Not violently enough. But one day, always keep your eyes on goals. And do I want to unpack the other one, Phil? We can say that. What do we have for time here? No, that was probably enough for one day. I got a lot more to discuss here that is a lot more metal specific in terms of content. We'll be doing for Morbid Angel and Angel Corpse what I've already done with Morbid Angel and Angel Corpse. We'll do for Deicide, which will be kind of fun. For Obituary, which I can give the spoiler now. It wasn't fun, but it will be good content. I did one for Death, which, full disclosure, this was the first time I listened to every Death album, and I had some opinions that interested me. And I'm just going over ones I've already forced myself to actually listen to all of the albums from. We will do Fear Factory, and that will be a joyous experience for all involved. I've got pages on Fear Factory. I had no idea how many albums they had made. And we will do Mayhem, definitely, very soon, because new album coming out, and I'm going to give one spoiler on that one. Don't look at me like that. I'm the one that will die on Mayhem Hill, and I'll spend a whole episode or more defending that one. And I'm apprehensive. I don't like what I'm looking at so far. So this could be pretty interesting. And fingers crossed, I'll not live long enough to follow through with any of this and be spared of all the bullshit that's piling up on my desk for next week. But if the good Lord so ordains, I will be back to deliver on all that. So, in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. And once again, Jim Dempsey, aging, bitter, hateful, angry, vexed, flustered, frustrated death metal fan with what I think will prove to be some interesting perspective on it. And we will catch you in the next one.